Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime back for another big Transformers review, and today I'm going to be reviewing the 5 Hasbro Pulse exclusive Shattered Glass Transformers figures. Counting, that's Blurr, Starscream, Jetfire, Megatron, and Goldbug. And yeah, these are 5 Hasbro Pulse exclusive figures, 1 Commander class, 2 Voyagers, and 2 Deluxes. So let's just get right on in to the video because we've got a lot to cover. Also, just FYI, I'm not counting for this video the Generation Selects Optimus Prime and Ratchet because that is a Generation Selects, not Hasbro Pulse exclusive, figures. So I'm going to be reviewing those two in their own separate video. But I will mention about them briefly, and also I will not be showing off the transformations except for Megatron, because Megatron is the only one who has anything new for the transformation. Everyone else is exactly the same as their original figures. So anyway, let's just get right on into it by starting with that packaging. And now taking a look at all of that packaging, as you can see, all of them have a big image of the figure right there. Autobot logo says Shattered Glass. Hasbro Transformers has their name all across there with all the artwork. And big windows showcasing each of the figures within. So fairly nice to say the least. All of the packaging also features some nice artwork on the sides of the box as well. And then each of the backs of the box all feature product shots and functions and features that we'll be covering within these reviews. And also they also feature bios for each of the characters, some shorter and some longer. And also, I also wanted to mention this, but all of these figures did come with Hasbro Pulse exclusive comic books. I will cover these on the second channel. I'll also link that in the description below. Not the Lego channel, the Nemesis Studios channel. I'll be sure to link that down below. So I'm thinking about making some videos on these comics. So let me know if you guys would be interested in seeing that. Now let's start with these figures in order upon of when they were supposed to be released, because technically they were meant to be released in a particular order, but then they all got sent out at wrong dates. But anyway, first of all, we'll start with Blurr. I did, in fact, get Blurr first, as he was supposed to. But, so anyway, just getting into Blurr. The original Studio Series 86 Blurr this figure is based on had a very unnerving head sculpt upon some angles, but for me, it wasn't a big deal breaker. I mean, he still looked fine to me, plus he had light piping. But this figure takes that small gripe and really goes overboard with the brand new head sculpt. I love the eye patch and the red eye and the scars, that conniving smirk on his face, just amazing looking. Just very quickly going over articulation, the head can swivel and look up and down. Shoulders can rotate a full 360. They can move in and out. And he does get an elbow swivel. No, wrist swivel. Waist can rotate, can kick forward, can kick back, upper thigh cut, knee, and then the ankles can pivot and hinge down and up. And then here's just a brief look at the comparisons between Shattered Glass Blurr and G1 Blurr, just so that you guys can see some of the stuff here. Everything is exactly the same minus the head sculpt, even down to the accessories. The accessories are also the exact same. Apologies if the camera is a little bit shaking. My tripod is kind of a piece of crap. And now taking a look at Shattered Glass Megatron. Megatron here is the original Siege mold with a bunch of tacked on extra parts and some amazing paint detail. Like this, if I had to give you guys a vote on what is the best Megatron repaint to get out of that cel-shaded one, all the Gen Selects and all that stuff, this is the best Megatron repaint ever. Maybe on the same level as that one cel-shaded one, I would even say. Megatron's head sculpt has exquisite blue metallic paint in there with the gray, and he's got like that bucket head, which almost kind of looks reminiscent of that old Marvel comic color scheme. But I do like the head sculpt here. Going over the articulation, the head is on that weird ball joint, and it still has that one panel that gets annoying. Shoulders can rotate full 360. These wings can shift around, and they can hinge back. They can move in and out. He does get a bicep swivel, 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. You also can act this as a butterfly joint if you want. He has a waist swivel. Hips can move forward. They can move back. He does get a thigh swivel. They can move outward that far. He can bend at the knee, and he does get that ankle pivot. And for Megatron comparisons, here is the Shattered Glass Megatron with the G1 Siege Megatron, and yeah, you can really see a lot of the differences between these two. And like this guy, just like the Hot Shot, you guys haven't seen that review because because I've not done it, but that figure, it's the same opinion here. The repainting and the new pieces are so different from the other one that it makes this guy feel like a completely different figure, and it doesn't feel like you're buying the same one. But yeah, I actually like the differences here. And here is Shattered Glass Starscream, the next in the line, and oh my goodness, is this guy gotta be one of my favorites of the bunch. I love the drastic repainting. Again, the repainting just feels so vastly different than the actual Starscream. And also, I love that new sword that splits into the two swords. And this guy is definitely one of the best figures of the whole set. There isn't anything new, just like the other head sculpts before. On the Megatron, this is not any different than the other one. This is just, repainted. But also, Starscream here is one of the few figures in the Shattered Glass subline who actually features light piping. Another thing I wanted to mention is back in the Siege days, this chest plate, when you would unpeg it, it would used to come out so easily, but after transforming with this guy and his nice snug joints, this chest panel does not come out on this figure. Just FYI on that. Starscream has the ball joint at the head, which allows it to pivot and rotate a full 360 and also look up and down. Shoulders can move up and down. He does also get that really awesome butterfly joint. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. Wrists can rotate. He does get a limited waist swivel. Hips can move forward. They can move back. He can move outward that far. Upper thigh cut. Single jointed knee, which bends in very far, and he still has that compressing calf joint. Ankles can move forward, they can move back. He does get the ankle pivot, and he has the movable toes. And then also the wings can fold and hinge all around, so they can accommodate to other bits of articulation. And here is Shattered Glass Starscream compared with the other Starscream, just so you can see those differences. And here is the Shattered Glass Goldbug, in my opinion, the least most impressive of all of them. But I do like the Goldbug head sculpt, and he features the exact same accessories as the other ones, but let's just look at those details up close. And honestly, the head is the most impressive part of this figure, but that doesn't mean he's a bad figure, because I still really like this mold. That's just all I really have to say about it. There's nothing much else to say that it's a good-looking head sculpt. Going over articulation, Goldbug's head can really look up or down, can't really pivot. The head can rotate a full 360. It's a very tight swivel. Shoulders can rotate full 360, move up and down. Bicep swivel, 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. Wrist swivel. He does have an arcing back joint like that, and it's a little loose. His waist can rotate, hips can move forward, they can move back, they can move outward, bend at the knee, and some ankle pivot that goes way too deep. And here is Shattered Glass Goldbug compared to the Bumblebee that I have in this mold, the buzzworthy one from that 4-pack. And yeah, very much differences because the colors are basically just inverted and they're in gold, not yellow. But honestly, there isn't much very different about this figure that's so noteworthy as much as some of the other figures, that in my opinion, he's not the most impressive of the set, but I still like him. And then here we've got... And here we have the Shattered Glass Jetfire. He currently has his battle armor stuff on, so I'll take that off when I'm making up-close looks at the figure, but Just wanted to let you know this guy is very big, but also a very, very impressive repaint. First of all, I did want to mention before I take off the helmet and the chest plate, they look phenomenal on the figure, and I love how you can almost see his eyes through the green visor. Almost makes him look like a Halo guy, or like he's some, like, it just looks so cool with his helmet on. Like, I just can't, I'm always gonna keep him with it displayed like that. But anyway, looking at his up close details, Jetfire's got an amazing looking head sculpt with that very nice silver paint that I always love seeing on figures, with those bright red eyes, the green on the forehead, and the purple. And he just looks so good. Also wanted to mention, this guy does still feature the swappable gimmick right here. It's got the Autobot logo, and then you can push that in. You can swap it around for the red Decepticon logo. And again, that is just a very nice little detail right there that he still has. Just some other quick features. He also still features that one hand gimmick where the fingers can open and close, where he has the little hole right there to accommodate accessories. For articulation on Jetfire, his head still can rotate. It can look up and down. He's got that little shifting panel. Shoulders can rotate a full 360. They can move in and out. He does get a double jointed elbow. Wrists rotate and the hands still open, as I mentioned. And he still accommodates that slight waist swivel. This hip skirt can move out. His legs can kick forward. They can kick back. He can move outward that far. Upper thigh swivel. Bend at the knee. And then he gets those toe bends and a very tight ankle pivot. So that is basically it for the articulation on Jetfire. And here is Jetfire compared with the original G1 Siege Commander class Jetfire. And just, wow, like, again, what a repaint this is. Now, I'm not going to show off everyone's transformation, because everyone's transformations are exactly the same, but I will show off Megatron's transformation because he has that new flight mode, but FYI, he can still turn into that tank mode, by the way. So let's just get right on into it. Now, I kind of messed up the order here, but here he is in his weird Cybertronian flying tank mode? I have no idea. It's basically just the Siege tank mode, and then the legs are just folded up in a weird way, and then have that little piece in the middle kind of holding it together. But overall, and obviously the wings tacked on, but it's just, you can still rotate this turret, but it's just so freaking weird. But anyway, that is really it for that, so let's just look at some of the details. And yeah, overall, the flying tank looks good. I like the wings, even though they're tacked on. I like the white paint, it really shines. I like the blue clear plastic and the painted blue plastic. Overall, it's just a very, very great cohesive mode, but kind of weird. Here he is compared with the Siege Megatron, and then I also wanted to show him off compared to Megatron in his tank mode as well, so there you can kind of get a look at both of those. And now taking a look at Blurr here, I like the way how this vehicle mode looks, but without that head sculpt like from Robot mode, which is such a big highlight, it kind of makes this seem a more subpar vehicle compared to the other vehicles in the Shattered Glass. But anyway, taking an up-close look at it, I like those highlights of metallic paint. I like those lightning tattoos right there on the front. And then I also like that transparent yellow window. And overall, very nice looking vehicle mode. And getting into the comparisons, I do like the Shattered Glass Blurr's vehicle mode more, especially with the lightning and the darker, more muted colors. And overall, just like him better. And now getting into the Shattered Glass Starscream. Holy crap, does this Tetrajet mode look really cool with those blue swords right there plugged in. I really like this one. And yeah, just taking some up-close looks at it. It's got nice panel lining. I love the white and red. I just hope, just like Megatron, I hope this doesn't get all yellowed later on through time. And then here he is compared with the original Siege Starscream Tetrajet. So you can kind of see how vastly different they both are. Like, I mean, wow, like, this is such a trip to look at these two together. And here is taking a look at Goldbug. I like, again, like I said before, he's not the most impressive figure of the whole set, but I do like the way how his vehicle mode looks with the gold and the black. Makes him look like some kind of fancy car. And overall, the details on the car are pretty minimal, but I do like all the gold highlights. And also, as you can see, he can still pull off that jet ski of death like Cliffjumper. And then here is Goldbug with Bumblebee, so you can get those comparisons. And then now taking a look at Jetfire, and holy crap, the main thing going for this figure is his absolute size, but the actual paint scheme also helps this figure out a lot. He also retains a lot of that same mechanical detail that's all throughout him that Siege always delivered onto us, and I love the green highlights with the silver highlights throughout the black and the purple. It's a very, very nice jet mode, and I really like how this repaint came out. I could even say it's slightly cooler. And also, he also came with these blue blast effects, before I forget. Very nice touch. And then here is the Shattered Glass Jetfire compared with the Commander class Jetfire. And oh my goodness, again, I kind of like this repaint a little bit more. Like, I kind of like this color scheme that little bit more. But you can't go wrong with the original Commander class Jetfire either, because I still like that figure a lot. And then just as one last comparison, back here, just get him back in robot mode, just for one last comparison, here it is. Here is the Hasbro Pulse figures compared with the Generation Selects Optimus and Ratchet. So yeah, this is shaping up to be a really nice Shattered Glass collection. And that is basically it for my big review on the Shattered Glass Hasbro Pulse exclusive collection of figures. And yeah, I really, really like all of them. Though my top favorites have got to be drawn between the Megatron and Jetfire, mostly because Jetfire's huge size, and the repainting is actually really cool, and I love Starscream as well. I'm just worried that Megatron and Starscream could eventually start to yellow on me. I mean, Megatron already looks kind of yellowed, but that's just how he showed up in his box. I'm just worried, I just hope that Hasbro has some white plastic that doesn't yellow like that anymore. And then the Blurr and the Goldbug are alright, but they're not the best figures in this set. But overall, I do like them. If I had to, and I'm going to give them individual ratings. If I had to give Jetfire a rating, I give him a solid 9 out of 10. If I had to give Megatron a rating, I give him a solid 10, or 9 out of 10, because the parts forming does bug me. The Starscream, I've got to give a solid 9 out of 10. The Blurr, I'm going to give a solid 7 out of 10, and the Goldbug, I'm going to give a solid 5 out of 10. Maybe closer to a 6, but overall, I like the figures. They go well with Optimus and Ratchet. And yeah, that is basically it for this review. If you guys enjoyed the review, be sure to give me a like on the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel for more Transformers reviews. Let me know if you guys liked this big video format and the Shattered Glass figures, and I'll catch you guys next time.